Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com. Welcome to my first NFC Divisional Round playoff breakdown. I'm breaking down the Minnesota Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers. But if you're new to my channel or you haven't done it yet, there's a button right down here. See it, see it, see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. My channel, scientifically proven to make all your wildest dreams come true. Now, stick around to the very end where I'm going to tell you who to put action on. But let's break this game down before we get there. Basically, the line opened up at 6. San Francisco is a 6-point favorite. It's now at 7. And the line should be at 7. You have the number 1 seed against the number 6 seed. And let's break down the San Francisco 49ers a little bit here. You have the second-ranked scoring offense in the NFL. And you have the 8th-ranked scoring defense. But when you dive in a little more than that, they're 4th in total offense in yardage, 2nd points, 4th in yards, but they're 2nd in yards defensively. So they're 8th in points, 2nd in yards. And what really surprised me is the Niners have the 2nd best rushing offense in the NFL. But no one's run for over 775 yards this year. Their leading rusher is Raheem Mostert. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And he's got 772 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. He's their 3rd string back, actually. But here's a guy from nowhere who scored a rushing touchdown in his last 6 games. That's pretty damn good. He's listed at 5'10", 197. He's not a power guy, but he's playing some damn good football. Now, Breida and Coleman, when they're healthy, they make as good of a 1-2 punch as you'll find in football, but both these guys have been banged up. Hopefully, with the bye, these guys can get healthy, and all 3 of these running backs can bring something different to the table. Bottom line, the one thing that's constant about the San Francisco 49ers, it doesn't matter who's in there. I might get a phone call. Maybe I can run for 60 yards and a touchdown. The Niners know how to run the football. It's old school defense. You run the ball, you play good defense, you win a lot of fucking games. The defense was built by John Lynch. If you don't know this, John Lynch played safety on the 2002 Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's building that Niners defense just like he built that really awesome Buccaneers defense, and it all begins with up front. You need tons of athleticism, tons of speed, and that's just what you got in spades. I mean, you got tons of speed, tons of athleticism, and tons of bodies everywhere along that defensive line. You got really ultra fast linebackers, and then you have big ball hawking secondary, but it all starts up front and then it trickles back down. But basically, one of these days I need to do a video just breaking down the Tampa 2 defense, but it all begins up front. And this defense is built to be a really dominant defense in the 20s because this is a young, very fast defense. And out of all the playoff teams left, the San Francisco 49ers, nobody's had more sacks in the regular season than the 49ers with 48. So let's look at how these teams kind of match up to each other. I just mentioned they were 8th in points, 2nd in total yards, and on paper, the 49ers defense is really, really good. But one thing I've noticed is that while they're 2nd in rushing offense, they're 17th in rushing defense. And when I take a further look at their defense, listen to this. Eric Armstead, 26. Nick Bosa, 22. I'm giving you their age. DeForest Buckner, 25. Quan Alexander, 25. Dre Greenlaw, 22. Emmanuel Mosley, 23. Akilo Witherspoon, 24. Jimmy Ward, 28. Jaquiski Tart, 27. I just named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 defensive players that San Francisco 49ers are going to use. 7 of them are starters that have never played in a playoff game. Now, D Ford has, and he may not even play. He's been banged up last several weeks. Richard Sherman, of course, has, but I see a lot of experience in that 49ers defense. Oh, yeah, did I also mention it's Jimmy Garoppolo's first start? That's kind of a key position. And let's take a look at the Minnesota Vikings here. How did Minnesota beat the New Orleans Saints? Well, they held the ball. They controlled the clock for 36 minutes and 56 seconds, 37 minutes. 40 carries for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook had 28 carries for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions for 36 yards. So, I mean, you're looking at, 130 yards total scrimmage yards. And here, this is what really impresses me about the Vikings. They held Alvin Kamara to 7 carries, 21 yards, and Latavius Murray 5 carries, 21 yards. So they held their 2 running backs to 42 yards. That's pretty damn good. Breeze was 26 out of 33 for 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And when I look at the Vikings team, remember they were in the NFC Championship game a few years ago. This is an experienced team. Not just this year, but this Vikings team as a whole has a lot of playoff experience. And I'm also looking at Mike Zimmer with a lot of playoff experience. This is Kyle Shanahan's first playoff game as head coach. On offense, the Minnesota Vikings is healthiest they've been in months. And you remember what I said about the 49ers and sacks? Vikings had 48 sacks too. I kind of sandbagged that, huh? Let's take a look at special teams. Give me Bailey and Colquitt over Gold and Wisnowski. Gold, 74.2% field goal percentage. That's the worst in his 15-year career. Bailey, 93.1, highest since his Pro Bowl season in 2015. Almost 20 points. The field goal percentage is almost 20 points between the 49ers kicker and the Vikings kicker. And so bottom line, the more and more I look at this game, the more and more I like the Minnesota Vikings. See, the NFL is all about matchups. And even though the San Francisco defense is really good, it's really good against the pass because of that pass rush and that ball hawking secondary. They're not good at stopping the run, and Minnesota wants to run the football. If you put the San Francisco 49ers against a team that wants to throw the ball all over the place, you're screwed. But you're going against a team that wants to run the ball, and they ran the ball already against a better run defense. That's one weakness about the Tampa 2 defense. It's a lot of speed and a lot of athleticism, but you can run against these guys. And that's what an experienced running team wants to do, and that's what you got coming into San Francisco with the Vikings. So I told you to stick around to the end. I would give you my expert advice here. And I like Minnesota not only to cover 7, I actually think they're going to win outright. And the money line on this game is $260. So a $100 bet would win you $260. Am I telling you to do that? No. Don't get crazy here, okay? But Andrew's football recommendation is to go ahead and take the Minnesota Vikings, take 7 points. But the more and more I look at this game, the more and more I break it down, the more and more I like the Minnesota Vikings to win outright. Now, all casinos are going to be a little different, and I think action's going to favor San Francisco. So if you're dying to put money down, if you can get 7.5, don't buy the half a point. Don't buy the half a point, but go ahead and wait a little bit. You're going to find 7.5 somewhere. 7.5 is going to be found somewhere. Get it, take it, collect. So, listen, tomorrow is my breakdown of the Packers and Seahawks. And listen, if you haven't done it yet, I blew it up for you. So see it right down here. See it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Wait till tomorrow. Packers, Seahawks. I can't wait. I know you can't either. I'll see you tomorrow.